talent and which also serve and make their companies better. And on the last page, you can see some of our products and services. They're designed with people in mind. They're designed to help create stronger leaders and to help people grow. And so with that, I just want to open it up and see if there are any questions or comments regarding anything that we discussed today. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say good presentation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to touch on one other
Sure.
in regards to referrals.
Yes.
And what you, in light on what you said, never be afraid to ask for the referral. I mean, being in sales for so many years, it's ask for that referral. You know, ask them with the incentive program that you have mentioned, even with your employees, offer an incentive program for your clients. You know, say, you know, if you bring me so many referrals, I'll discount X, Y, or Z, or you'll get some kind of promotion of some kind. I found that very helpful being in sales so many years ago that, you know, it does. It increases your client base and drives your revenue, and there's nothing wrong with asking for that referral. So I just wanted to elaborate.
And what's the worst that could happen?
Exactly.
They just say no, right?
They say no. We're not going to go out there and market your business for you. And it all goes back to the branding, and, you know, the customer likes you, and, you know, you feel good about, you know, your relationship with the existing client. I mean, ask them for their referral.
Don't be afraid of them.
And don't be. And that's
Don't be
my
afraid.
main point is do not be afraid to ask.
You're gonna get told no. They tell you no, you're
They
a no
will.
or something than you were to begin with. Exactly. Don't be afraid of no.
So,
We're asking customers, we're saying, look, we're going to provide you with a great experience. This is on the front end. Would you be willing, if you have as great of an experience as we think we're going to deliver, would you be willing to give us a testimonial and some referrals? So we're sort of priming that pump ahead of time so the customer is not caught off guard at the very end of the engagement. The customer knows what's coming.
So what is
Yes.
your opinion on paying for referrals? So if you send me a referral, I'll give you a gift card for $20 to customers.
I tend to shy away from paying for referrals. I might say if you give me X number of referrals, because what you've got to do, in my mind, you're sort of training customers, right, to not give you a referral unless they get something for it. And I think you want customers excited about you, sort of that organic referral, but then also they should be so excited about your service that it shouldn't bother them to give you names. That's my opinion. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I would try to do it as a last resort. One thing you can do is test it. So you don't have to do it simultaneously. It's not one or the other, right? You can test it on two separate groups of customers and see where you generate the most referrals. Because you want to be careful that what you pay, the amount that you pay, doesn't cost more than the profitability of the customer that you get.
we
You
do
see?
that with our website development company.
Okay.
And I do agree with you as far as her question in regards to your opinion on offering incentives and this and that. 3 clients. I will waive 3 months of your hosting fee. So we just did
Sure.
minor things like that. And they're a pretty big client too.
Mhm.
So I was like, no, you bring me some clients and I'll pay your 3 months
There you go.
hosting fee. And they were fine with that. And I'm not saying we did that to everybody. But, you know, it was just kind of something we were testing the market. So. But, and you're right, you want them to have that respect for you as far as, you know, being a marketer or business developer or anything like that with your clients.
Sure. Marketing is about testing.
It is. It truly is.
Do you have any software you recommend for measuring the analytics of your customer database and your referral sources and all that, do you use any software or recommend anything?
Sure. Question is, do I have any recommendations on analytical software? It depends on how big your firm is. There's a free software which I've heard great things about, which I keep meaning to test it but haven't. It's called Zoho. It's free up to a certain point. Then I'm not sure really how analytical it gets, but it's good kind of CRM in terms of helping you keep track of your customers and what they've done. Now, I like software that's integrated. One thing that's a pet peeve of mine is when I have a CRM software, an analytical software, this software, that software, and I've got to somehow tie them all together. I hate that. The best software that I've seen so far for a small to medium-sized firm is something that is called Green Rope. And I love the way it integrates sales, CRM, analytics, social media. It lets you do outbound direct mail. So it's sort of customer tracking system, analytical, and your execution software, outbound execution software, all rolled into one. And it's very affordable.
So it has like an automation piece where
yes.
everything else can be automated. And
yes, that's right. Look them up online, Green Rope. And then for a more enterprise, a larger enterprise, well, you know, we're gonna have a software that we're selling to companies that probably have at least 10, maybe up to 500 employees, and it's called Agilytics. It's still in development, but it's taking what we did in the banking industry. Remember I told you we mined our customers and pulled them out and distributed leads across 4 states. We're going to make that available at a very affordable price to small business owners. So I should have more on that this summer. But Green Rope, I think, is a good, very affordable solution. Gives you more, I believe, than Zoho does.
Have you worked with Infusionsoft?
I have worked with Infusionsoft, yes. We still video? You can edit this part out. I really, several years ago, maybe 2007, became really enamored with Infusionsoft and what it looked like they could do. And I went to a conference of theirs out in Arizona, and I loved the people. So I got it for the preschool. Well, it required a lot more technical maintenance on my end as somebody that had a full-time job and was running a preschool than I could put into it. And it wasn't, I didn't find that it was as flexible as I wanted it to be. I liked what it did. I liked some of its, the marketing campaigns you could build, you know, the event-driven marketing campaigns. But I found it technically a little bit more than I wanted to deal with. And I found it to be expensive. So you can put that back on now. I know a lot of people that swear by Infusionsoft, but they've got some technical person, you know, strong technical person running it for them. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Comment on analytics, which I love, but in our business, I've been in healthcare marketing to seniors for a long time, housing and healthcare, and sometimes it's just simple analytics. It doesn't have to be real detailed. Sometimes you can almost get too much.
Sure.
But you think you know who your best referral sources are, but then you do some simple analytics, and yeah, they send us a lot of referrals, but they don't end up coming to us. You know, who refers that you actually close, and it might be a situation, and why didn't the others close? And it may be you need to educate your referral sources a little bit better because everybody that came couldn't meet the income guidelines or something like that. So our industry has always lagged way behind the computer age, I think. I mean, when I first started working, we didn't even have computers, but we are coming into that. But sometimes I think just the simplest analytics are really interesting.
You bring up a couple of good points because A, you can get swamped with data, right? And the secret in good marketing analytics is knowing what data really drives your company, what drives your success. That's what you want to focus on. You don't want to get swamped in a sea of data. And the second thing is very astute, and that is, not everybody that comes gets closed. Well, so then that becomes kind of what we talked about. Well, what is our close rate? Who's closing? Do we need to educate our referral sources, which we talked about? And where can we do any more outbound marketing toward the people that do qualify? And can we set a higher bar for a close rate and see if we tweak a few things, will that give us any higher success? I'm sure you guys have probably done that, right?
Yes, and looking at it as, is it a sales issue or is it a marketing issue?
Right.
Are you getting the leads and not closing them? Or are you not getting enough leads? And because now I'm part of a big company, and it's people are always coming, oh, here's a good idea, here's a good idea. So the fact that you have to have a planned strategy. I mean, there's so many people out there that don't even have a marketing plan. It's amazing.
That's right. So I like your point about closing. And the beautiful thing about the system that we use in the banking industry is we could see what salespeople got what kinds of leads, right? And then we could measure which salespeople were doing the best job closing on different kinds of products. And so then what we would do, we kind of get a best practices. And you get, we would create what we call champion groups. And we would try to share best practices and get those champions, would video them, interview them, get them on webinars, just trying to get them to share their best practices throughout the company. And I'll never forget one time, one lady had gone from, in terms of closing on this outbound calling system that we had, she had gone from a poor performer to one of the best. And I said, how'd you do that? What made you do that? And she said, well, when I figured out that it wasn't going away, when I figured out that you guys were really serious about this, then I put it in gear and I gave it my best effort. And so, that's another thing, is when you introduce new things into your company, what do a lot of people don't like change for the most part. They don't like it at all. So what do? They just sit and say, maybe this will go away. Yeah, it's just kind of this will pass. It's a management fad.
And oftentimes it does. I had a supervisor, a lot of times he would ask us to do things and he would never come back and ask us the results of that or follow up with us. And so after about 4 times of that, and I figured out I was the only sales rep that was working for him that was actually doing what he asked to do, and I had to volunteer the results that I found, I quit doing it. Because why? Nobody else was doing it, and
Sure.
He didn't care. So I think that goes back to leadership.
Leadership. He didn't know what brand promise he was operating under, did he? He was just willy-nilly, throwing darts at the dartboard and hoping that it hit something. Sure. These are great comments. What else do you have? So do you feel like you're at least minimally equipped to go back and start working on a brand promise and start making some changes to your marketing programs? Good. Sure. Thank you for coming. I'll stick around for a little bit if you all have any additional questions, but thanks so much for coming. Yeah. Thank you.